This is January 1st, 2024. Welcome to Tech for Senior. This is episode 195. I'm Hewie Poplock, and my system doesn't want to cooperate very well this morning, but I'll be your host today, hopefully. And Ron is here just in case, but he's got the day off. He's got company. His family is here from Ethiopia. And that's going to be part of our program today, as a matter of fact. And then we do this, the first show of the month where I take over and I'm the host and he's the co-host. I'm the Johnny Carson and he's the sidekick today. And let's see, this is a 1-hour show about technology and we have a Q&A at the end after our music session. Today, we're talking about security, which is our usual presentation, first thing. And then we're going to learn about Ethiopia. Ron's daughter, Jennifer, is going to talk a little bit about technology and some other things about some of the things that she's discovered since she's moved to Ethiopia this past year. And then Chris Guld is going to be here with Fun with Photos. She's going to talk about searching for your photos, how to find things. And then I'm going to be talking about handling Facebook fake friend requests and how to report them. And then, of course, our music session with Ray Baxter, and then our Q&A at the end of the show. Ron, by the way, I am Hewie Poplock. I'm in Bradenton, Florida. And Ron is my co-host today, and I'm usually his co-host. And he's in Vancouver, British Columbia. Ron, what's going on in your life?
Oh, you mean your sidekick? I'm your sidekick today. Is that right?
Okay. Yep.
Everything's fine. Yeah, yeah. It's a warm day here. No snow. The Home Depot keeps sending me a request to evaluate my new snowblower, which of course I haven't had any chance to take out of the box yet. So that's about. The weather's good. And the family will all be leaving this Thursday, so that'll be back to the ℍ𝕠𝕟 thing. So we're sort of excited. We had a good Christmas.
Well, that's good, and good New Year's as well. Bob G, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Same to everybody else. Hope you all came through it without any hangovers. I've not had any problems. My drink of choice has been nothing but water.
I ended up water, but I started out as wine. Wine and amaretto.
Mine's the same in and out, so no problems on this end.
Ray Baxter, president of APCUG and treasurer, and our music host here on Tech for Senior. How is your day going?
Good morning, Hewie. Yes, Happy New Year to you too and everyone else. Today's going so far. Last night, Carol and I decided we couldn't decide which one of the TV shows to watch, whether the Dick Clark music event or there was one on country music. So I recorded both and we went back and forth. And I can tell you that the country one was the better one, although the country music sounded like modern rock and roll. And then on the Dick Clark, he would be embarrassed, I think, because there was not one new artist name I ever heard before. But there was a lot of music being played. And that's how I brought the New Year this night.
Thanks. Bill James, Happy New Year to you in Oklahoma.
Thank you, and Happy New Year to everyone. So far, so good. I'm looking forward for 2024, and I hope everyone has a wonderful New Year as well.
And Chris and of course, Jim Gould from Geeks on Tour here.
Hello,
Chris,
everybody.
how you doing?
We're doing just great. We actually proved that we can still stay up till midnight. Or
in our time zone,
or 11:45 anyway. Yeah, but we rang in the new year at midnight Rio de Janeiro time, which means 10 o'clock.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yes, looking forward to presenting today. We're in South Florida and it is 71 degrees here. Nice.
Okay, go ahead. All right, this is Tech for Senior. We're in our 5th year. Don't forget our website, techforsenior.com. On Thursday is the TFS or Tech for Senior Live, which we always have a lot of fun and a lot of good tech news for the hour. So if you're interested in what's happening in the tech world, join us on Thursday. That is a Facebook and YouTube program. It's not on Zoom. So if you join us here, you'll have to wait till the following Monday. And then this coming week, the ℎ𝕠𝕠𝕟, the Sarasota Technology User Group meeting, which is always the first Wednesday of the month, will be featuring Judy Tallur talking about accessibility. She's going to talk about software, hardware, peripherals, and accessible and assistive technology. And the Windows SIG, which is usually the following Sunday, isn't until the following Sunday, the 14th. It's always the second Sunday of the month. And please join us for that. And then I also have a Let's Talk AI session for ℎ𝕠𝕠𝕟 on the 4th Friday of every month. And it's always been just for ℎ𝕠𝕠𝕟 members, but we're opening it up for any user group member or any of the followers of Tech for Senior. So please feel free to join us. You'll have to register with me on that and send me an email at hewie@fastmail.com. And be sure to subscribe to the Tech for Senior newsletter. You'll find lots of great articles, lots of good information, and it's free. Ron, you've got something you want to say here.
It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. January is our fundraising month. Each year, Hewie and I get together and we discuss a budget for Tech for Senior. This year, to produce the shows we are going to, it will cost us roughly $2,000. We are fully committed to a 5th season of Tech for Senior, and we've looked at different ways of fundraising over the past 4 years. We've looked at subscription fees, we've looked at Patreon, we've looked at Google memberships. But what has worked best for us is simply saying, hey, can you help us? You always do. And we get the fundraising over in January, and that can devote all our energy to producing the great quantity that we do and the 2 regular shows a week. The budget of $2,000 is basically all related to licensing fees for the software that we use in production. This no way reflects the thousands of hours all the volunteers on the Tech for Senior project put in to produce the great content that you see online. And each month, about 21,000 people view all the videos that we have produced on YouTube. So at this time, I would like to let you know that we are committed for a 5th season. We do hope to be able to run that if we can raise our $2,000. Hewie and I would like to thank everyone in advance for their great support over the past 4 years, and we are excited about this coming season. Your donation can be made online through our coffee fund. You'll find the details of this on our webpage. I'll put the link in the chat, and all our videos have that at the bottom in the description. Thank you again for your support, and let's get back to the show.
Thanks, Ron. Yes, and thanks for people who have already contributed. And with that, Bob, if you're ready, we'll start with the security.
Okay, let's get going. Here is my security news roundup for the week ending December 29th, 2023. New sneaky malicious Android malware hits over 327,000 devices. A new Android backdoor has been discovered with potent capabilities to carry out a range of malicious actions on infected devices. Dubbed ℎ𝕠𝕠𝕟 by the McAfee mobile research team, the malware is so named for the fact that it's developed using an open source mobile app framework called ℏ𝕠𝕠𝕟 and abuses the operating system's accessibility permissions to fulfill its objectives. It's also capable of gathering metadata about the compromised device and contacting a command and control server to fetch a second stage payload, but only after determining if it fits the bill. Read more at thehackernews.com. Rogue WordPress plugin exposes e-commerce sites to credit card theft. The skimming activity is part of a megacart campaign targeting e-commerce websites, according to Securi. As with many other malicious or fake WordPress plugins, it contains some deceptive information at the top of the file to give it a veneer of legitimacy. Security researcher Ben Martin said, in this case, comments claim the code to be WordPress cache add-ons. Malicious plugins typically find their way to WordPress sites via either a compromised admin user or the exploitation of security flaws in another plugin already installed on the site. Read more at thehackernews.com. Apple reportedly faces pressure in India for reporting state-sponsored hacking. Officials apparently targeted Apple after it warned journalists and opposition politicians that state-sponsored hackers may have infiltrated their devices back in October. While Apple is under scrutiny for its security measures in the eyes of the public, the Post says government officials were more upfront with what they wanted behind closed doors. They reportedly called up the company's representatives in India to pressure Apple into finding a way to soften the political impact of its hacking warnings. Another case of a government attempting to stifle free speech. Read more at Engadget.com. CBS and Paramount owner National Amusements says it was hacked. National Amusements, the cinema chain and corporate parent giant of media giants, Paramount and CBS, has confirmed it experienced a data breach in which hackers stole the personal information of tens of thousands of people. The private media conglomerate said in a legally required filing with Maine's Attorney General that hackers stole personal information on 82,128 people during a December 2022 data breach. Details of the December 2022 breach only came to light a year later, after the company began notifying those affected last week. Read more at TechCrunch.com. Comcast faces class action lawsuit in the wake of massive data breach. Comcast is facing a class action lawsuit following a massive data breach that exposed personally identifying information of about 36 million Xfinity customers, as reported on Security News Roundup last week. According to the suit, those impacted by the breach are now at a higher risk of fraud, identity theft, and other harms, and those risks may last for the rest of their lives. In addition, those impacted by the breach must devote substantially more time, money, and energy to protect themselves. Read more at CordCuttersNews.com. Google removes 3 fake VPN extensions with 1.5 million users from Chrome Web Store. Security researchers at Reason Labs discovered 3 malicious Chrome web extensions that were installed on 1.5 million installations of the web browser. Distributed via torrents, these extensions acted as legitimate VPN extensions on first glance. The extensions appeared to have been spread via torrent files of popular video games. Reason Labs mentions Grand Theft Auto, The Sims 4, Heroes 3, and Assassin's Creed torrents specifically, but there may have been other games. It found the Trojan installer in over 1,000 different torrent files that promised access to commercial games. The downloaded setup files had a size between 60 megabytes and 100 megabytes. One common signee name was Spice and Work Limited, but there have been others as well. Read more at ghacks.net. Move It, Capita, Citrix Bleed, and more. The biggest data breaches of 2023. Here's a roundup of the most devastating data breaches of 2023. And here's hoping we don't have to update this list before the year is out. Just weeks into 2023, hackers exploited a zero-day vulnerability affecting Portra Go Anywhere managed file transfer software, allowing the mass hacking of more than 130 companies. January was a busy month for cyber attackers, as it also saw UK postal giant Royal Mail confirm that it had been the victim of a ransomware attack. Phone system maker 3CX is used by more than 600,000 organizations worldwide, with more than 12 million active daily users. But in March, the company was compromised by hackers. April saw hackers compromise UK outsourcing giant Capita, whose customers include the National Health Service and the UK Department of Work and Pensions. Not long after Capita's huge data breach, TechCrunch learned that the outsourcing giant left thousands of files totaling 655 gigabytes in size exposed to the internet since 2016. The mass exploitation of MoveIt Transfer, another popular file transfer tool used by enterprises to securely share files, remains the largest and most damaging breach of 2023. In September, China-backed hackers obtained a highly sensitive Microsoft email signing key, which allowed the hackers to stealthily break into dozens of email inboxes, including those belonging to several federal government agencies. October saw another wave of mass hacks, this time exploiting a critical rated vulnerability in Citrix NetScaler systems. Security researchers say they observed attackers exploiting this flaw, known as Citrix bleed, to break into organizations across the world spanning retail, healthcare, and manufacturing. The full impact of these mass hacks continues to develop. In December, DNA testing company 23andMe confirmed that hackers had stolen the ancestry data of half of its customers, some 7 million people. However, this admission came weeks after it was first revealed in October that user and genetic data had been taken after a hacker published a portion of the stolen profile and DNA information of 23andMe users on a well-known hacking forum. Read more at techcrunch.com. This week's must-see on my YouTube channel. AI 2024 predictions. Here's a poem that will entertain and predict our AI dependence in 2024. This poem was created by Copilot and finalized with my own finishing touches. Please watch my video on that topic at the link listed. Did you know brass doorknobs, thanks to their copper alloy composition, are naturally bactericidal and self-disinfecting? Honeybees can be trained to detect drugs and explosives, just like detection dogs. Deployment, as you would imagine, is significantly less convenient. We're not born creative or destructive. Each one of us has the ability to create or destroy, to leave the world better than we found it, or worse. Thanks to Yo-Yo Ma. Just thought you might want to know. And that's a wrap for this week's Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you in 2024. Bye-bye, and thanks for watching and listening.
Thanks, Bob. It's been a busy year for the bad guys. Now, hopefully it'll be a little bit better this year, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, with this, Ron's daughter Jennifer is going to present some information for us about Ethiopia. So Ron and Jennifer, take it away.
Do I get an introduction
No.
from my dad? Oh. Hi, this is my second time on the show. I'm happy to return. Last time I talked to you, I was in the middle of getting ready for our move to Ethiopia, and now we've moved, our stuff arrived, and we are all settled and living and working in Addis. So just for some people who might not know, my husband and I are both international school teachers. a common question we always get is, do you teach English? The answer to that is kind of yes, but the international school circuit is set up for other expat families who live overseas. So some of my families work at Heineken in Ethiopia, and so they're from the Netherlands and they need a place for their children to go. Addis has the third highest concentration of embassies. So we have all the embassy children come to our school. It's also the capital of the African Union. So we have all the representatives from the African Union. And it's also a hub for NGOs. So United Nations, World Health Organization, and lots of other NGOs. And so all those expats move overseas with their families, just like we're overseas with our son. And the international schools are places that expats enroll their children in to get a school experience that's maybe some close to what they might get back at home, or maybe a bit better because they have to live overseas. And so we are currently living in Addis. It's definitely a developing country. My husband and I, this is not our first time being in a developing country, but this is probably the first time we have lived in one. And so, you know, some features of Addis, a little bit different to where we were before in Beijing. There was quite a lot of poverty. We're very fortunate. We have a house helper who helps take care of our son and our dog and our house. I have a long list of things to collect for her here because you just can't get them in Addis. Medicine for children, running shoes for her kids. And so it's just a very, very different lifestyle to what we had in Beijing, where in Beijing or in most of Asia, you can get anything you want at any moment, at any time, often through tech, some sort of technology ability. But I guess what I wanted to share today is that despite it being a really different place to live, there are some things about humanity that are still the same. So for example, Addis has its own Uber. It's called Ride Addis, and it's a ride, not a ride share, but it's a way of flagging down a car, and it's completely safe. We use it all the time with our son. But, you know, we use this in Beijing, and we used another, you know, Uber is very common. And so it's just interesting moving to this place that is so different and yet so similar with an app like rideshare. They also have third-party apps for food deliveries. Now, the food delivery options are much more limited than what we had in Beijing, but they still have, it's called an app called Addis Delivers, and you can order your next Indian meal or some sort of Ethiopian dish. And then if that's not enough, they also have their own, like, it's not like WeChat, because nothing's like WeChat. That's the app that was in China. But they also have ℍ𝕝, which is a bit like Apple Pay or Google Pay. So ℍ is the local currency, and then ℍ𝕝 is like moving the currency in different ways. And so the way we use ℍ𝕝 is, my husband actually has it set up. I have not been able to do that yet. So he has it set up. And so what he can do is he can add credit to our phone that way. He pays our internet that way. And also, I think sometimes if you know how to do it, you can pay your utilities that way. So despite living in a place that's so different, in the first few weeks, we had, you know, these apps that are so similar to what we all use all over the world. So that was really interesting. It's the first place we've lived in that doesn't have an Apple store. In fact, any tech related things, we have to just hold on and wait till we leave the country, because I don't even know where I would go get technology stuff in Addis. It's just really difficult to get things in and out of the country. And so cords or charging things or whatever you need, you're not going to find. So you have to be able to come into the country with all your stuff. But people are really friendly. And if you need to borrow something, then we find our school very helpful, and you can usually find what you need within the community. So Addis, as you can probably guess, is not, despite having those apps, it's not super tech oriented. But in some ways, I think for our family, we really appreciate this at the moment. We lead a very, very simple life in Addis, and it's been a bit of a nicer pause from the busyness of living in a city of 30 million, which was Beijing, and not be surrounded by so much tech, or not being reliant on so much tech stuff as was the case in Beijing. I guess you could say that we're leading a lot more analog life at the moment, which won't be for us forever, but definitely it's something that we really appreciate and we do want to instill in our son. One more thing that's interesting part of our life is the power goes out a lot. So we do have a generator in our apartment. So as soon as the power goes out, we often don't even notice the power goes out because the generator just kicks right in. But it's definitely, as a family, we've had to relearn how to cope maybe without Wi-Fi or without tech for a while. And so our board games have increased, but I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just another example of finding ways to exist as a family. And so that's our life in Addis. It's not so different from life anywhere else in the world, surprisingly, with a few minor adjustments here and there for accommodating for power outages and whatnot. I think that's all I have to say. Is that 10 minutes?
Yep, that should just about do it. Can you come back at 10?
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks for having me. Some of you are familiar faces. I see some of you from last time. I'll be back in the summer, so I'm guessing there'll be another update. Okay, I'll come back at 10.
I hope you'll
Great.
stick around for the Q&A.
Yeah, if you're here for the Q&A, that would be wonderful if you can. I forgot to mention in my opening remarks about the premiere video, which Ron, I think, will post in the chat. But we're going to be talking about home automation for seniors, part 3 from Bill James, the immersive reader from me, and colorize your pictures that Ron did. So those will be the 3 short videos that will be repeated from at least a year ago in the premiere video that will be on the next half hour, an hour from now. And with that, we'll lead into Fun with Photos with Chris. And Chris, take it away.
I am Chris Guld, and here with my husband, Jim. We are Geeks on Tour, and we do lots of teaching, have done for years. We now have a YouTube channel, Geeks on Tour, and a regular show. I am here to talk about searching your photos. How many times have you wanted to find a photo and you just start scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and you maybe never even find it? Well, we are going to talk about using search. All photo-related apps, all of them that I know, have a little magnifying glass, a way to search. So you can search through your thousands of photos, just type, for example, the word train, it finds them and then shows you just the results. You can search by many things. Dates are the first thing. I mean, you're always in order by date. So if you know the date, you can scroll to it, or you can search for the date. The contents of the photo, the location, any text that is related to the photo, the people and pets, the camera, even the color. If you want to find a photo that has a lot of pink in it, you can search for pink and it will show you those photos. I really like Google Photos. I'm going to show you just a little bit of Apple Photos and Samsung Gallery as well, but I do have a lot of sample searches using Google Photos, and I pre-recorded this piece. I want to show you some sample searches using Google Photos, first on the phone, then on the computer. Google Photos, you tap search, and let's do dates. I'm thinking of a particular date, July 4, 1998. And so you tap search. These are the photos on that day. Why did I pick that day? This is when Jim and I got married. We had a very unconventional wedding. You'll see that we're wearing our propeller beanies. Even then, aren't we cute? What if I just typed July 4 and search? That's going to show me what we were doing on July 4 in each year, 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, etc. Or if you want to see a whole month in a given year, you can just type August, and just the 3 letters is good enough. August 2013. And here are all the pictures from August, starting with the latest, August 31, and going back to August 1 of 2013. Sometimes you will see these autofill options after you've typed a month. So March 2023, March 20. If you tap on those, notice the little calendar. That means you are absolutely getting results that are in that month's calendar rather than a picture where people are marching, for example. You're getting calendar results. Okay, on to people. As soon as you tap on search, you will see this section for people. You can view all. And if I notice that my face has my full name in there, Chris Guld, you tap on that, you will see all the pictures with my face in it. But that also means that I can search by my name. So I can type Chris Guld, and Bodie, our dog. And I will see pictures of me with our dog. But remember, that's only if you have named the pictures. So there is Odie in the people and pets section of search. But be aware, I did not tag any of these pictures with Odie. Google Photos goes through and recognizes faces of people and pets, and it automatically puts them together in a group. Then it's up to you to add a name. Places. There is a places section in the search area as well. I generally find it easier to think of a place I want and then type it in rather than hunt through all of these. So for example, Mount Rushmore. And it's showing me all our pictures of Mount Rushmore. We were there at several 2004, 2011, and 2013. Something I want you to notice here, as soon as I type Mount Rushmore, I even just type Mount RUS and I see this little emblem. This means an album. So I say, oh, I have an album of Mount Rushmore pictures. That's even better. Don't let it search through my 100,000. Just show me the album that I've already made of my best pictures of Mount Rushmore. So the key there is do not press search. So I just do Mount Rushmore and take a look at what it is suggesting. And that is an album. Now let me go to the computer and show you how it works there. We're just on a browser at photos.google.com. This is my photos, all 100,000 of them, and I can search for Mount Rushmore. Just same thing. The search bar is always up at the top, and there is the album. I like it. Probably the most fun is searching for just things that are in the photo. For example, kayak. That searches through all of my photos and just finds the one with kayaks. Now you'll notice it is not always perfect. I do not see a kayak in this picture. I do not know why it pulled that up, but it errs on the side of inclusiveness. So you're bound to get the kayak picture that you want. You just might have to sort through a few more unrelated pictures, but most of these have kayaks in them. Then you can also combine. I can say kayak in Venice. Oh, notice that there's an album. Okay, I'll look at that. We did go kayaking in Venice. It is just so much fun to meet up with people. You start having a conversation. You want to show them a particular picture from your life, you can find it. Let's say you're looking for a picture from Christmas. You type Christmas and enter, and you might get hundreds. Now, how does it know it's Christmas? It knows that December 25 is Christmas. It also, though, will notice pictures of Santa or gift wrapped and decide that that should belong in a Christmas search. What if you're looking for a particular year? You just add that year in, Christmas 2000. And now you have just pictures of Christmas 2000. Anything you can think of, just give it a try. So I'm going to search for a picture of Mom hugging the dog, Odie. Look at that. Sometimes it blows me away. Other times it not so much, but give it a try. Another one, I'm thinking of a picture. All I remember is that it was people sitting at a picnic table. And there we go. A bunch of people sitting at picnic tables or other kind of tables, but they're all pretty close. And here's the one I was thinking of. Notice it's from June of 2009. My lifetime of photos is in here, and I can find any photo I'm thinking of. So I use that all the time. We went to a party last night. Conversation comes up about alligators. I have a wonderful picture of a really big alligator here in Florida. I could get right to it, where other people were scrolling. So I love that. That's all Google Photos. I do want to show you just a little bit on Samsung and iPhone. The Samsung Gallery there has a search button up at the top. The Apple Photos has a search button at the bottom. I want to start with the Apple. So I'm talking about this icon. You know, not that one, that's Google Photos. This one is the Apple Photos. And I open that up, and here is the search button down at the bottom. I tap the search, and I can type a year. So 2012, for example. And it only has 9 photos. Why is that? Well, my lifetime of photos is not in Apple's iCloud. These are just my Apple photos. My photos that I took with a Samsung or in these dates wouldn't show up, but it works just fine. 2012, or I can search for kayak. And instantly, that's one thing, the Apple is faster because it does it all on device. Google's is all in the cloud. It can be a bit slow, but I still find pictures of kayak. It works just great. That's Apple Photos. Now the Samsung, I'm talking about the Gallery app, this one. And I tap on that, and yeah, the search is the little button up at the top of this. Same thing, I will search for 2012. And it doesn't find anything. Why is that? because gallery is only looking at the photos that are on this device. And I clean off my photos periodically, so it doesn't have 2012 on it. How about kayak? It only comes up with one in 2022 because I have cleared out all my photos before that. But it does have a search. If all your photos are on your phone, you can find them with Samsung Gallery. And we will stick around for the Q&A. I see that, because, yeah, don't. Now, there's one thing that I didn't show in those examples, and that is search by text. I want to do just a couple of examples on using the computer. So you can search for file names. I just type 3802 and press enter, and it comes up with some pictures that have 3802 in the file name here. Another example is solar eclipse. Now, it's going to pull out pictures of the solar eclipse. I love eclipses. I try to go, so I've been to a few. But why does this one show up? Well, it's because of the description that was entered. The description has solar eclipse in it. So that's text, and a really fun, I can type in Texaco, and it will find this old picture of Jim's dad at their gas station because there's a Texaco sign in the background. Okay. And that, I think, is some of the most fun you can have with photos. We talked about searching for albums. Start finding. Stop hunting and start finding your photos using search.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you, Chris. As usual, a plethora of information and just and Chris, you'll be here for the Q&A, correct?
Yes, yes.
Great. All right, now let's hope my computer is back functioning. I've got it ready to go, so let's go to the next thing by sharing my screen. Do you get repeat friend requests on Facebook? Well, we're going to talk about that today. Do you get something like this on your Facebook page where you get a friend request for a friend that's already a friend? Well, if you've already confirmed someone as your Facebook friend, but then get another friend request from them, don't be alarmed. This is actually a common occurrence on all Facebook. I'll explain why it happens and what you should do. Here are some reasons for the duplicate requests. There are a few, and you may get repeat friend requests from existing friends. They created a new Facebook account and want to connect again. They don't recognize you by name and resend requests just in case. It's a glitch in Facebook's system, but most likely their account was hacked, actually cloned, not hacked. If you get a repeat friend request from someone already on your friend list, follow these steps. Check if they've created a new profile. Does the request come from a slightly different name? If so, you can confirm again to connect both accounts. If it looks like the same account, ignore the request. You are already friends, so you don't need to confirm again. If you're concerned, you can message the person and politely ask why they resent the request. This gives them a chance to explain or let you know that it's a fake request. Reasons to be suspicious of requests? While many repeat friends' requests are innocent mistakes, be very cautious about suspicious situations. The new request comes from what appears to be a fake or clone account. The account requesting has posts or information you know is inaccurate about your friend. Or you get repeat requests despite already asking the person about it. If you're quite sure it's a fake account, when in doubt, just decline. If a repeat friend request seems questionable or makes you uncomfortable for any reason, feel free to decline the request. You can also block the account sending it, or you can delete the request, works as well. But if you want to report a fake account, unfortunately, fake accounts and friend requests do happen on Facebook, quite often, as a matter of fact. If you conclude a repeat friend request is from an imposter, in the upper right of the request, click the three dots icon and then select Report this request. Choose Pretending to be someone I know and enter the name they are impersonating. Click Submit to send the report to Facebook. And I'm going to give you some screenshots here in just a bit to show you what I'm talking about. Why should you report fake accounts? Reporting is important because it alerts Facebook to take action, removing fake accounts or banning them. This helps keep everyone safer. Let your real friends know if you discover accounts pretending to be them as well. They'll want to also report the impersonation. If you get a request from a friend and you know they're already a friend of yours on Facebook, here's what you should do. Go to the line that you see the three dots. Don't click on delete request or respond or confirm the request. What you want to do is click those three little dots. And when you do, you'll get a drop down. It'll say search, find support, or report, or block. You want to report it. So when you click on that part of it, it will say pretending to be someone. Someone is in immediate danger to get help before reporting to Facebook. Don't wait. But in most cases, it's just pretending to be someone. When you click that, you'll get another drop down, which will ask, who are they pretending to be? And you're going to say a friend. Unless it's your own account, then you'll say me. Then it will ask which friend, and you will start to type their name. When it gets to where there are some matches to names in your Facebook friends, it'll show up. Make sure you click on the one that is in question. When you do, it will put it in which friend, and then you click send. When you do that, you'll get this. It'll say report. Does this go against our community standards? Our standards explain what we do and don't allow on Facebook. We review and update our standards regularly with the help of experts. You'll want to click on submit. At that point, you'll get a notice saying, thank you, we've received your report of someone pretending to be someone as a friend. And it will say it's awaiting a review. We use technology and review teams to review anything that doesn't follow our standards as quickly as possible. You click next. Then it'll say more options. I do not block, I do not hide, because I want to see if it disappears by itself. And there's a check mark next to submit it to Facebook for a review. And I hit done. Usually within a few minutes, but sometimes it's a little bit longer, I'll get an email from Facebook and it will look like this. Thanks for letting us know about someone impersonating your friend on Facebook. Reports like yours are an important part of keeping Facebook a safe and welcoming community. Since this is happening to your friend, we're going to close your report and follow up with your friend directly once we've reviewed the account. Thanks again, the Facebook team. So it's out of your hands and you're done with it. So in conclusion, by working together, we can try to minimize fake friend requests, but never hesitate to report when you come across them. Facebook relies on user reports. Handling fake friend requests on Facebook, I'm Hewie Poplock.
Ella Fitzgerald, commonly known the First Lady of Song. I'm going to thank ChatGPT for today's commentary. It provided just about all of it. So Ella Jane Fitzgerald, she was born April 25, 1917 in Newport News, Virginia. She would become an icon in the world of jazz and one of the most celebrated vocalists of the 20th century. Raised in Yonkers, New York, Ella faced a challenging childhood marked by financial struggles and the loss of her parents at an early age. Yet it was her love for music, nurtured by the likes of the Boswell sisters and Louis Armstrong, that would pave the way for an extraordinary career. Now, Ella's breakthrough moment came in 1934 at the Apollo Theater in Harlem, where she entered the amateur night competition on a whim. Her rendition of Judy not only won her the first prize, but also caught the attention of drummer and band leader Chick Webb. This encounter marked the beginning of her collaboration with the Chick Webb Orchestra, and by 1938, she had become its lead vocalist. Now, in that same year, 1938, Ella recorded the timeless A Tisket a Tasket, which catapulted her to stardom and established her as a force to be reckoned with in the music industry. After Chick Webb's untimely death in 1939, Ella took over leadership of the orchestra, solidifying her reputation as a remarkable performer. Known for her impeccable vocal range, distinctive phrasing, and unparalleled improvisational skills, Ella Fitzgerald was often referred to as the First Lady of Song and the Queen of Jazz. Her voice effortlessly traversed genres from swing to bebop to blues and ballads. Ella's collaborations with jazz luminaries like Duke Ellington, Count Basie, and Frank Sinatra further showcased her versatility and musical prowess. Ella's career spanned 6 decades, during which she recorded over 200 albums, received numerous accolades, including 13 Grammy Awards, and earned the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1992. Beyond her extraordinary musical contributions, she also played a pivotal role in breaking down racial barriers in the entertainment industry. So Ella Fitzgerald's legacy endures through her timeless recordings and the countless lives she's touched with her music. Her unparalleled artistry continues to inspire generations of musicians, ensuring that the First Lady of Song remains an indelible figure in the annals of jazz history. Ella Fitzgerald passed away on June 15, 1996, but her voice lives on, an eternal testament to the enduring power of musical genius. And to that I say, Happy New Year. First Lady of Song.
Wow, what a fabulous voice. Great choice. Thank you very much, Ray. With this, we're going to go into the Q&A next. A reminder of the premiere will be on the half hour. And again, the items for the premiere are home automation for seniors, part 3, the immersive reader, and colorize your pictures. And the link to the premiere is in the chat. So again, thanks everybody for joining us. And Murray's had his hand up for quite a while, so we'll give him the first go at it. Murray, go ahead.
Okay, it's for Chris. It's about Google Photos. And I've got one problem that I haven't been able to figure out how to fix. I've got one in the people. I've got one person is identified incorrectly, and that person is like the one that is there for the for the group. And I can't seem to change that person to somebody else. And I don't know why and what's wrong with it. But as I say, most of the people in that group are correct, but the one that is actually chosen as the key photo is actually the wrong person. They look somewhat similar, but they're not related. Any hints or how to deal with that?
Sure. Let me show my phone.
Whoops, that's the one.
There we go. And so let's find a person here. You all, I'll go to this person, and there's lots and lots of photos, and maybe she isn't in one of these. The main thing though you're talking about is you're saying that picture is wrong, right?
Well, I'm saying
The-
that picture, it says, let's say that person, that picture is a person, let's call her A. And
Right.
and then all the rest of the pictures in that group are of picture B.
Right.
But
Okay.
that A has got the name of B.
Right. Just find a picture that is correct and tap the three dots. No, sorry. Okay. This is where it's always instead of opening a picture, you have to select it. And then the three dots and oh,
Wait a minute.
all right. I thought that's where you made the cover photo. They're always changing things here. Yeah.
Stump the geek.
Stump the geek. I do have a video on fixing. Let me just show you the things that I do know, and it might help your situation. If I tap on this photo, and if you can find the picture of the person that is wrong. So let's say that this face does not belong in this group. You can select it and then three dots and remove photos. So you remove the wrong person from that group. Then it will have to put a new cover face on there. I sure thought you could specify the cover face here, though.
I don't recall.
So if that helps, the other thing that you can do is if you actually open the picture that is wrong, you can swipe up on it and select the face in here. You edit faces and you can say, nope, that's not Kip. And you can take it off and then you can tap on it and put them in the right face. So if you go, so there's some things you can do when you're in the face group. There's some things you can do when you're on a full picture that has multiple faces in it. Lastly, there have been a lot of complaints and problems with the face grouping over this past year. I have been told that the latest update to Google Photos has fixed a lot of those. So make sure that your app is up to date.
Is the like if you're at photos.google.com, does that fix it automatically if your Chrome is updated or whatever?
Yeah, good question. It's the good question. I don't
Is it the app on your phone? And
it's actually a server side processes, but they say you need to, yeah, there is no app on the computer. There is nothing to update on the computer. So
Okay.
whether it's working there or not is up to Google's servers. But the only thing you can do is update the app on your phone. And
how do you do that?
In your app store, in your Play Store.
Okay.
Just like any other app.
Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, maybe can you put the link in the for that video that you
videos?
have?
Yeah, sure. Will do.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks,
thank you very
Maurice.
much.
Salk Computer.
Yeah, I was wondering, I've been having trouble since the last update of Zoom with the person who is speaking has a black box with the yellow highlight around it until another person talks, and then the black screen changes to that person and the first person's video reappears. Has anybody heard of anything like that? It doesn't seem to matter if I'm dual screen or single screen.
Not heard of
I
it.
have not heard of that.
Did you update today?
I updated Friday right before my evening Zoom that I run, and that's when I first noticed the problem. And in fact, even when Chris was sharing a picture or sharing her screen just now, the screen's black unless I switch to gallery view, and then I see a miniature version of what she's sharing.
Okay, the There was an update and it's 3.17, and the one before it was, or when I say three, I don't remember the exact number, but it was 0.7, and the one before it was 0.16 or 6. But it was a number difference. So you might want to double check and see if there's another update since you updated.
I just did during this meeting. It's 5.17.1 is what I'm showing.
That's the latest version. And I noticed this with it. I had trouble logging on this morning. It took me a couple of tries, and then I had to hit the unmute and the start video several times before it finally took. So there's some problems with it. So there should be an update pretty soon, I would imagine.
Yeah, I hope so. It did eventually straighten out later in the meeting, but it seems like it's when you first sign in problem.
Yeah, that was where I was having a
what
problem earlier as well.
Yeah,
And
I
Bob
also
did as well.
Yep. I expect there to be another update either later today or tomorrow, because they're usually pretty quick on that when it's a major thing that affects lots of people.
George, you have your hand up.
You're muted.
See, it'll be the big word for this year too. You're muted. Ron Brown's daughter, I forgot her first name.
Jennifer.
Jennifer, what's the delivery like if you order something from out of the country, from Amazon or someplace like that, or from AliExpress or whatever? What's the delivery like to Ethiopia?
That's a good question. We haven't done that yet. So my understanding is we can't order Amazon into Addis, but this isn't something that's so different to Beijing, because you couldn't also order from Amazon into Beijing into China unless you had a Chinese ID. But it didn't really matter because we could order anything on the Chinese apps. So the trick in Addis is to have friends in high places. So the American embassy people, I don't know if it's just American embassy or if it's like all embassy people, but they have an inside track with Amazon, which they're not allowed to share technically. And in terms of, so what people often do, one great thing about Addis is that it's truly a hub. The airport is a hub. It flies almost direct to anywhere in the world. So lots of people, well, not lots, but a common thing that people might do is they might fly to Dubai, which is only a few hours, 2 or 3 hours away, and they have Amazon packages delivered to Dubai, and they just have them delivered to a hotel, and then they pick them up and then they bring them back. Our visa status in Addis, we get these special red cards. They're not diplomatic passes, but they're just about as close as you can get. And so what it does, it enables us to walk right through the airport without anything being checked. So if you bought some sort of electronic in Dubai that would normally be subject to some sort of tax issue import tax issue coming into Addis, you just wave your little red card and they're not allowed to do anything. DHL services are available in Africa. There's a DHL office right next to the school. We've never DHL'd anything in Africa, but my friends who are from different parts in Africa, like South Africa and Zimbabwe and whatnot, they use the DHL services all the time, and it doesn't seem to be an issue. So that's a long answer to no, we have not had things delivered in yet to the country. A lot of it is around taxes. We had our stuff when our shipping came in. The trick was to have our shipping come in within a certain window of time, because we have a 6-month period of being tax exempt. And so when our shipping came in, it just came to our house. But we know other expats who move there who don't get the tax exemption. And it's a whole other different process of going through itemized lists and every item being taxed, because the country just does not have a lot of money. And so this is the one way that they generate their their revenue.
Thanks. If I could ask a second question to Chris. One, I can find a photo that I want, but I want to switch over to the timeline using that photo as an index into the timeline, because the photo that I found isn't the one, and I know that there are others in that timeline. Is there an easy way to do that?
Sorry, you have got to repeat. I didn't understand.
Okay, so I do a find. I find a photo that's next to the photo that I want. Taken in, like I might take 4 or 5 pictures. Say I'm taking pictures of the inside of a computer, and I want to, and I found one of those, but I want to jump immediately to the others in the timeline from that photo that it found.
Okay. Yeah. Two things. Let
without
me,
entering the date.
yeah. You probably can't do what you exactly are asking to, but let me show you what you can do. If I search for kayak, and it finds, oh yeah, and so here's a picture of a kayak from September 22, 2023.
Yeah.
This little arrow over here
Yeah.
will show me all other photos taken on that day. I mean, I might
Well,
have
that's
taken
what I
a lot
want
of
then.
pictures. Yeah, I might have
Okay.
taken a lot of pictures on that day, only one of which was as a kayak.
Yeah. Okay,
So
that
this shows-
answers it.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
But that's still not getting you to your main.
Yeah, it's okay. I know that I found it in the
It's
day.
just one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Okay, very good.
Right.
You had your hand up, Chris. You had a question.
Yeah.
A hand
Yeah, I
went up.
have a question for Jennifer. Talk about your cell service. How is internet? And do you know what's providing it?
So yeah, the internet is, I mean, one thing about living overseas, I saw someone say, like, you have to be really adaptable. And I guess this is an example of a space that we had to be really adaptable in. But coming out of China, I think served us well. In China, we had the Great Firewall, we had VPNs, we had all sorts of things that, if you had internet problems in China, you never really knew what the issue was. It could be that the government turned the speed down, or it was the VPN or whatever. Like, it was just always so complicated. Moving to Addis, it hasn't changed much. We still have to contend with VPNs for some things, like Disney Plus is not available. So you can imagine we have a 6-year-old son. So this is almost a crisis. But we do have, my husband could probably answer different things to this, but like we have a little Fire Stick we can stick into the TV that helps. It's a VPN, some sort of thing that goes onto the internet through the TV. What did Dave say the uploading speed was? He told you 20
down. It's 20 down.
So it's slow. It's definitely slow, but for us, like, the way we use the internet at home is basically the first step is, can we use the internet to talk to family overseas? That's really like the biggest concern for us. And when we first had the internet, the school actually installed an internet plan for us. We could call our families, but as soon as anybody opened up their phone or did anything while we were on Zoom, then it immediately slowed things down. So there are other internet packages that we've been able to get. So my husband went through one of the other companies, and this is like also something happens when you live overseas. You chat with different people and what do they use and what worked. But we do have so we have 3 internet providers coming to our house, and they're all like on at different times. The internet provider that we upgraded for, within 2 days, lines had gone down somewhere in the city. So we didn't have access to it for several weeks. But we used our school backup one that we had that works just fine. And then when the power goes out, there's no Wi-Fi. So, and again, like the government, like China, sometimes switches things off. Like last year, Facebook and things had been turned off. So you needed a VPN. But like I said, this is for people who, there are some people who are a little bit crazy and they come straight from North America, move right into Addis, and they obviously have a really big culture shock. But for us living overseas, especially coming from China, the internet for us has not been any more or less of a headache because we already dealt with it.
You mentioned an app on the phone, the ℍ𝕠𝕟.
𝕍𝕠𝕟. So
That was
ℍ𝕠𝕟
like for money. So I figured, well, if people are using their phones for money, they must be able to get service even out in the countryside. And
countryside, I'm not sure. Like 4G and 5G is available. And sometimes the 5G is just more reliable than using Wi-Fi. Like when you go into we don't go into restaurants that often, but any restaurant we go in, there's no Wi-Fi service like here where you walk in and immediately you can log on to Wi-Fi at any cafe or restaurant. That does not exist. The 4G and 5G is very fast. But it's just one of those things where and there's new internet companies starting up. So 5 years ago, it was just the government owned internet Wi-Fi. Now there's, I think, 3 private companies. And when that happens, when that opens up, prices come down, services get better, there's more competition. So that's definitely been a plus. Safaricom is one of the big internet providers. All the kids from Safaricom come to our school. But, it's like, this is not my expertise, but when the new company starts off, when a whole bunch of people sign on, maybe they don't have enough space for everybody to be using that service. So it's a little bit slow at the start. There's also like times during the day when it's busier or not busy. So it's definitely not like internet here. The school, though, when we're at school, the internet is fine. I don't know how the school works its internet service. Like in China, our internet went right through Hong Kong. But when we're on campus, the internet works no different to what it would be like here at my parents' house, as long as there was no power outages or anything.
do you know if Starlink satellites play a part?
That's an interesting question. We've been talking a lot about this Christmas, and the answer, we don't know what it means. So when we go back to Addis, we're going to ask our tech people at school whether or not Starlink can be used in the country. I guess we didn't want to bring it in ourselves just because that sometimes when the government has controls on the internet and stuff, that kind of stuff, maybe they will look at that at our suitcase and go, no, we're not going to allow you to bring that in. And that will be something that's taken off us. So we're going to go and do our research and see what our school says and whether or not it can work. But in the meantime, it works. It works for us. Like my son can do his Switch. I can talk to my parents. We get Netflix. So far, we have to watch Disney Plus on the iPad with a VPN, but we're working on getting that on the TV. So, as long as we can do all those things. Yeah.
Fascinating to hear from you. Thanks.
Yeah. You can connect that iPad to your TV using a cable if you want to.
Yeah, we've tried. I don't know. We've tried mirroring onto our TV, and I don't know.
It's better with a cable.
Yeah.
Just HDMI.
Just an HDMI. It works great.
That'll be something that we try.
She has a video on
it. And Costco has the Starlink.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. It's great to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Jennifer, thank you for joining us, and everyone else, thank you for joining us. We're a couple of minutes over, but that's good. We had a good show today, lots of good information. And again, for the January 1st, or the first of the year, we welcome another year of Tech for Senior. We hope to see you Thursday, and I hope to see some of you on Wednesday night at the Sarasota meeting. And with that, thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget the premiere.